So we're here with the ACM, as your people call you, which I love. You can I call you ACM,
Sure,
Mr. Batista?
sure. Yeah,
ACM Batista, acting city manager. Thank you for coming into the studio. We so rarely have guests, so we vacuumed and we actually dusted for you this morning.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's sad to think that this is our best. We're putting our best foot forward.
Right,
This is our best.
Yeah, I actually bathed, so I wouldn't offend.
I appreciate that.
But thank you for coming in. Congratulations on at least being acting city manager.
Yes, thank you.
Which is a position that you've let people know that you want to pursue full on. I was reading that you probably have the chance to become city manager or at least go for a city manager job elsewhere. But you said in this particular interview that you wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. Is that right?
That's right. It's it's unique because you grew up in this city, and so my aspirations when I started working in city government was have an impact in the city that you grew up in, that's home. Going to another community and being a city manager in another town, which is Cambridge or Lowell, it's not the same. It's not home. It's not, you don't know the people, you don't know the culture, you don't know the environment. So it's not the same. You're impacting lives, you're impacting people, but you're not impacting the home. And so that's why for me, I'm most interested in the city of Worcester other than any other community.
I would find that to be difficult to go to another city that you're not so invested in that way, where you know it so well, you grew up here. It just seems odd to me. I mean, I don't want to disrespect any other city managers who've done that. If you're a good manager,
Yeah.
I guess you could do it. But I'd find it hard to manage a city you really don't care deeply about.
Yeah, and it takes time to build relationships, to understand the dynamics of the politics or even the business community, to have those relationships, to be able to pick up the phone and make those important decisions or even move things or even get to really know what the community wants. It's a little challenging. Like you said, it's, no disrespect to folks who do that. I just find that a little bit challenging based on my current experience.
So I moved here in 2000, and I would say in the past 22 years, this has become home, and I've seen so many great improvements in the city of Worcester and the surrounding areas. So many wonderful things have happened and continue to be happening. What would you say if you got the job, let's say tomorrow they gave you the job permanently, what's on that short list, 1, 2, or 3 things that you would start working on immediately?
One of the things that I've been talking a lot about is organizational health. And so right now we're in a time where past COVID, we're seeing our significant challenges with hiring folks and retaining people in city government, just like any other industry. And so that impacts the culture of your organization. So what it's called is the organizational health. And so that's an area that I really want to focus on. Almost every meeting that I've had with the cabinet members, every cabinet member has expressed their challenges and the concerns related to staffing, whether staffing needs salary increases or they're losing people, they can't retain people, they can't attract people. And so we're seeing a big challenge in that area. And the reason I think it's a priority for all of us here in the city is because when you start to lose people in DPW, when you start to lose people in inspectional services, you start to lose the ability to pick up the trash, plow the streets, fix the streets, inspect property, which are core services that businesses, community residents need. And when that stuff starts to impact, then we have a really problem. And those are the areas that I would like to target right now, because in this market it's pretty tough, and every department is expressing those challenges.
The city's tercentennial is coming up, and we're having huge celebrations this weekend. Will you be there? Are you going to march in the parade?
Yeah, I
and
will
stuff?
be there. I will be with my wife and son.
What do you see as the biggest challenge going into the city's 301st year?
One of the things that I said is Worcester has done a great job in its renaissance and kind of growing up and making sure we're known as a city. And I think now is in a position where we kind of evaluate ourselves and say, okay, what's next? What does that mean? Okay, well, it's kind of like you're going off to college, or you're trying to get a career and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's next in my life? Now I grew up, now what do I do? And I think some of us, even still at the age of 40, 50 years old, we're like, what next? What do we do? So I think Worcester's in that space. We're celebrating the 300th year. We've done a great job building up our community and our city. And so we're all trying to figure out what's next. What's the identity of Worcester in the next 5 to 10 years? And I think that's going to be a unique opportunity for all of us together to kind of figure that out, work together. But I think one of the things that we see more moving forward is the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're a diverse city, and so how to make sure that our services and what we do as a city represents that on every front moving forward. So I think that's an area that I think it's going to start to define itself in our city.
So while you were in college and you got your master's here at Assumption, right?
Yes.
You were a barber,
I was.
right?
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's no work for you in this room,
Nothing
obviously.
for you to do in here unless you
nothing. Yeah.
so you can trim your hair.
Yeah. But I was wondering, with your skills as a barber and dealing with people, has any of that carried over to you working in city government?
Yes, so I come from a family of barbers. My dad's a barber. I learned how to cut hair when I was 14 years old. My brother learned it as well. I have a cousin who learned it, and then just yesterday I got my hair cut from my nephew,
Nice.
who also is in the process of becoming a barber. So it's like a family skill. I got through college making money on the side, cutting hair in my dorm room.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
that was a great skill to have. And even to the day, I cut my son's hair and I line myself up when I need to. But the skill of a barbershop, it's, as you all know, when you've been to a barber, it's about working with people, talking to people, listening. Because as a barber, the client that you're cutting their hair, they're coming there and they're expressing a lot. They're sharing tons of things with you. And so one of the skills you learn quickly as a barber is to listen, to hear people's concerns, people's thoughts. And then people then seek advice and you try to share your thoughts and your ideas. So you try to stay informed of a lot that's going on in the community. It's like this, the barber shop becomes like this nucleus of information of
Right.
folks of all different walks of life. And that's what a city is. I have to listen to the community. I have to pay attention to what the community wants, to what the council wants. And then I have to be able to work with everyone to figure out what's the best solution in terms of resolving those specific issues. So I think those skills are extremely important, and building those relationships, staying informed of a little bit about everything is extremely important in this role moving forward.
Finally, you're a graduate of North High, right?
Yes.
And they are having their graduation ceremonies today.
Yes.
Are you going to be attending? Are you going to be speaking or anything?
No, I'm not.
Oh, they didn't ask you back,
No,
huh?
they didn't
What's
ask
wrong
me
with those
back. Yes,
people?
yeah.
What is your advice to a North High graduate or any graduate in the city of Worcester right now moving forward?
Oh, that's a great question.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. What I would say to a young person graduating high school is to not be afraid to make a tough decision. Oftentimes when you're trying to figure it out when you get out of high school and you think that whatever decision you have to make has to be the right one, or you're just trying to appease your parents or family members or someone that's telling you should go in this direction, but your gut tells you to go in a different direction. And like for me, it was a very untraditional way to get to where I am. I went to a technical high school. I didn't really like it. Then I left it. Then I started working. Then I went to somewhere else. Like it was just, I bounced around. By the time I graduated with a bachelor's degree, I was almost 25 years old. So what I tell a young person is don't be afraid to make a decision that at least you are extremely invested in. Don't be afraid to fail and just go for it. Go for the stars.
Nice.
Shoo, I knew when I met the acting city manager at the Worcester Bravehearts home opener last week, I just liked him right off the bat. His likability factor was there. And now, hearing him speak, I like him even more.
We call them the ACM. Adam.
Excuse me, the
ACM.
ACM.
I like that. Thank you.
Well, ACM Batista, thank you very
Appreciate
much
that.
for coming in this morning. We appreciate your time because I
Thank
know
you.
you're a busy guy right now.
Thank you.
And good luck, and we'll see you this weekend at the Tercentennial
definitely.
celebrations.